All right, g'day fellas. Today we are going to be working on a brand new video. This one is going to be all of the known sort of world legendary items in Borderlands 4. So this will help you maybe plan your build around specific legendary items that we have available to us at the moment. So I'm going to go through them on screen, show images of all the legendary items that I currently have access to, and we will just leave it at that and let's get to it. So let's start off with sniper rifles. First, we've got the Vestigial Complex Root, which is a sniper rifle. Um, Looks really cool. I'm not going to read every single description on these weapons. I'm just going to leave them up on screen for you to have a little look, and then we'll keep moving through them because there's a lot. Okay, so that's number one sniper rifle. The next one is the cooking ambushing Borstal Ballista with the red text "Go now and speed well." Interesting looking weapon. Not sure what propagation means, but hey, let me know what you think it means. And the next one is the accelerated progression, Ashes Rise, with the red text. How can we possibly have the slightest idea what to expect? Another cool weapon. Looks like going to be based off of ricochets. All right, that is all the sniper rifles we've got today. So let's go on to a big one that a lot of people are going to want, class mods. Starting off with the Vex class mod. Um, Excitable Technomancer. So this is like an Eldritch Blast build. So that one could be cool. Moving on to a Rafa's class mod, rewarding Flintropo. Um, Pretty cool, like a grenade-based one. Plata ya Palamo. I'm so bad at pronouncing things. That's the red text. All right, moving on to the Amon class mod, Chilling Elementalist. Do you remember the 21st night of September? I'm not sure what that's a reference to. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. All right, then moving on to the second Vex legendary mod, Electric Avatar. So this one looks like it's a minion based one. I'm the avatar. You got to deal with it. That's the red text. Pretty cool. And then the last but not least is going to be the Harlow class mod, Atomic Driver. Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds. Very cool. Got a bit of life steal on there and action skill cooldown recovery. We always like to see it. Okay, moving on to armor. So we've got a couple of armor pieces here. We've got the Timekeeper's new shield. Sorry about the quality of some of these images. I'm working with what I have. Um, it's all coming together, is what this shield says. So yeah, there we go. First armor. Next we have Mini Nova Sharpened Principle. Protect me, Squire. So there you go. Now we have the heavyweight armor shield. We call that the Stinger. All right. Next we have Scrapper, Maliant Hoarder. BYO bullets. So just a bunch of like ammo spawning, refreshing, refill magazine stuff. This one looks really powerful. I do like the look of that one a lot. Okay. Now let's move on to assault rifles. We have the Surveilling Whiskey Foxtrot. Who's ready to get friggin' perforated? Switch to a secondary mag that can be fired on full auto. Okay. Next one. This one I kind of like. Firm Potato Thrower 4. And the only thing written on it is Spud Gun. So I'm guessing it's shooting potatoes. And the red text is, I'm a hot little potato right now. Okay, next we have the Lucian's Flank. The red text is, how dare you? All right. Moving on from there, we have the Beginning Cold Shoulder. Just iced out is the legendary thing. Not sure what it's going to do. Leave your guesses. Or if you know, tell me. And the red text is, you've been smooching with everyone. Uh-oh. The next one is Aegon's Dream. Prophetic is the legendary. We don't know what that is. Finish the song. So there we go. And that is all we have on the assault rifles. Let's moving on now to grenades. All right, first we have the UAV. Death from Above is the legendary affix. So I'm guessing it's going to rain down stuff from high in the skies. And it literally, the red text is eyes in the sky. Moving on to the next one, Vampiric Swarm. So we've got Swoosh. So I'm guessing this is going to be some sort of health steal grenade. Obviously Bloodthirsty grenade lifesteal is increased by 15%, or 17%, sorry. Extra Galactic Jaws, clamping from above and below. So that's interesting. Can't wait to see some of the effects of these weapons. And now we've got the Augmented Maiming Spinning Blade. Juggler, catch the rebound to refund grenade charges. That's kind of cool. And the red text is, I'll take that. Moving on to Slippy. Swordfish deals melee damage. So it's a melee damage grenade. This could be very interesting if you're able to use a class to scale your melee damage, and then this scales off of your melee damage. And the red text is, whoa! All right, moving on to Shokunai. Ninja Speed. So grants 10% move speed from a short time with each consecutive hit for a maximum of 7 stacks. I've got blades stashed in places you can't even imagine. All right. Moving on to Rapid Recursive. Hovers above enemies, firing a beam downwards. That's cool. So this is like an Independence Day grenade. So it homes in, hovers above the enemy, fires a laser beam. Let's do this one last time. Okay. So we have got Vampiric Jelly. Replicating spawns duplicates on bounce. Okay. That sounds crazy. So every time it bounces, it's just going to create more grenades. Very cool. Maybe you could get like a bounce mod on here or something as well. I don't know. Let's move on to Impact Grenade. Okay. So doesn't really say much on there, but that's all I've got to show you. All right. Relentless Fuse. Fortified position. Who you calling short? Okay. Then we've got the fire pot. Spawns homing torg stickies over time. So you throw this out and it's just going to shoot more homing torg sticky grenades, I guess. Sticky boy, come to town. This one sounds like the one that I want. I love homing sticky grenades. That sounds sick. All right. The grenade ordnance. Sticky trigger. Detonate the grenade spawns combo orbs. Not sure what that means, but we're getting some sort of orbs spawning. All right. Let's go to the next one. Destructo Disco Groove. I hope this makes the enemies dance. That will be hilarious. I don't even think the worms are awake yet. All right. Chimurky? I don't know if that's right, but incessant, continuously homes in on a target. Will someone try it tonight? Okay, we've got the Buzz Axe, Makeshift, and Turn Around is the red text. Interesting. And lucky last grenade is Waterfall. Causes additional explosions when damaging targets. I'm only going to ask this once. Who is Jason? Okay. So that brings to the end of the grenades. Now let's knock out the heavy real quick. There's only one that I've seen, which is the Ravenfire. The legendary affix is 621. Explosions radiate outwards from the point of impact. So this looks like a rocket launcher, I believe. So there we go. Cool. All right, moving on to pistols. Zipper. Prison rules. Gain 75% critical damage and 75% damage when hitting a target in the back. Who's the shot caller now? So this is your little sneaky boy pistol. This could be really good for a class like Vex where you can have your minion taunt. So you could, get a group of enemies, taunt them, and then just start blasting them in the back while they're focusing on your minion. The Roach. This one's interesting. Flesh eaters shoot eggs that hatch flying roaches when attached to flesh, living or dead. He was the raddest roach is the red flavor text. So I believe shooting an enemy or a dead body will hatch flying roaches that will then fly off and attack whatever. All right, moving on to the rangefinder, and it has precision as its legendary. Not sure what that does. Something's got to hit. Maybe it's like homing. Moving on to Queen's Rest, Royal Armory. Fire high-speed rounds and damaging enemies has a 30% chance to spawn a homing sticky projectile. I could set this world on fire and call it rain. Okay, Phantom Flame. Midday. Zooming in acquires lock on targets over time and fires while zooming in shoots the entire mag. So I'm guessing ADS will like zoom in with the weapon, lock onto a bunch of targets, and then pull the trigger, and it's going to fire the whole mag and destroy whoever. And this is called Fan the Flames as the flavor text. And for the last pistol, we have King's Gambit. Holy hell. When shot, thrown weapon ricochets projectiles to nearby enemies. So that sounds like an interesting pistol. let's move on to the Medkit or your healing pack. There's only one that's been leaked off the world drop table. Pulse meter, passively gain health over time, increasing in rate when your health is low. So this could be quite nice to have. Yeah, you got my heartbeat going, baby. Faster and faster is the red flavor text for that one. All right, moving on to shields. So first shield, we have dinner. Overshield Eater. When energy shield is active, enemies have a 12% chance to drop an overshield when hit. When overshield is also active, grants 25% shock damage. What was yours is now mine. All right. Next one is Armory Remnant Super Soldier. Power play. When energy shield fills, grants an overshield. When energy shield is full, grants 25% fire rate, 25% move speed, and regen 1 ammo a second. That sounds sick. Okay, so for anything with a low ammo count, this could be really strong. Sniper rifle boys, maybe? Okay, and I'll never forget the adventures we had. Is the red flavor text on that one? Okay, and then we have Protein Cell. Direct current ground slam to toggle this effect while enabled. Drains shield over time to grant 40% bonus shock damage, and damage taken passes through the shield. Electrical resistance is futile. Moving on to Panduran Memento. Psychosis, when damaged, grants 15% elemental resistance and 50% resistance to the last damage type received for 5 seconds. I hate this planet. And we have Angel. So, Wings of Grace, when equipped, grants faster revival from Fight for Your Life. When Fight for Your Life expires, grants 1 free second wind every 300 seconds. Could be a nice one for harder content. I am here to help. Or throw this one on your support character. Harlows, put this on, please. Get me up, stop me from dying. All right, moving on to Extra Medium. Nucleosynthesis explodes on shield fill and shield empty, dealing 1,121 damage. Never above 5 on the call sheet of life. And then for the last shield, we have Cinder Shelly. Glass, when damaged, grants a stack of Resolve, which reduces damage taken by 2% per stack for up to 25 stacks. When the shield breaks, releases a Nova, dealing 183 damage, with each stack of Resolve increasing the damage by 20%. Skip to the end is the red flavor text on that one. All right, moving on to shotguns. We all love a good shotgun. The Legendary is heirloom, not sure. And Ride the Wave, dude. So it might be a projectile wave type weapon, similar to those Borderlands 3 ones. Next we have the Embrace. Adoration is the ability. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I'm not sure what that does. Maybe it makes them walk towards you. And we've got Slugger. Blazing Barrel. On kill, the barrel heats up, dealing 30% damage for 10 seconds for up to a max 3 stack. This sounds really good if you're doing some speed running, Dungeon clearing. If you're getting 30% more damage for 10 seconds on kill, and that stacks 3 times, that's 90% increased damage if you're going balls to the walls, um, ripping through enemies. So this could be a definitely hunt for. All right, moving on to linebacker. Full coverage. Bouncing projectiles increase damage by plus 25% and damage radius by plus 35% per bounce. Put me in, is the red text. All right, moving on to balloon. Lightweight projectiles float upwards and spawn child projectiles upon exploding. So this is going to be like a rain of fire type build. I can already feel it. For a brick, he flew pretty good. Kaleidosplode. Okay, colorful mess. So it's going to be a kaleidoscope type projectile of shotgun, probably swirling colors and craziness. Trying to point the prettiest picture I can with the colors I have. Oh, that says paint, not point. Bad image quality. All right, cool. Moving on to the Husky Friend Alt Fire Husky Auto Turret. So you can turn this into an auto turret. Sounds really cool. We just prefer to say Husky. And the last shotgun that I have access to is the Hellwalker Soothe Slayer. A piece of the moon hung in the sky like a polished bone. Whatever that means, I have no idea. Okay, so that is the shotguns. And now we are going to move on to, last but not least, the SMGs. So this one is the Prince Harming. Little play on words there. Pample, I don't know what I'm saying. Hitting enemies deal 13 damage to you and grant a stack of cruelty, which on kill restores 6 overshield per stack of cruelty for a max of 30 stacks. Have you the wing? Moving on to the next one. Plasma coil. Alright. Superheated. Harness the fourth state of matter. I wonder if that means it has like a 4-charge superheat gauge and does some crazy stuff. Alright, we have Ohm. So Ohm got energy transfer. When an energy shield is active, grant 50% damage by consuming the shield's energy instead of ammo. When overshield is also active, shield energy will not deplete. Back off, man. I'm a scientist. So this might be a good weapon for any of your builds that are going heavy into overshield. Yeah, give it a test. Let me know. And then we've got Rogue Looty Madland. Homemade ingenuity. Overheats quickly, but also cools down quickly. I've got a Looty. Then we have the final weapon of the day, the Hellfire. Burning Osire. I can't read what that says. All can't stop us now. All right, so that is the last weapon of the video. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with the game coming up. I am going to have a few builds out on my channel to start with. Obviously, I haven't played them. That's just in my brain. It sounds cool. So if you're looking for something to play, jump over, check out the Borderlands 4 build guides. And I hope you have a good day. Let me know in the comments what legendaries you're most excited for. And to preface, this is not all the legendaries. This is what was leaked off of the open world loot table. So there will be many more to acquire. All right, guys, have a good one. Like, subscribe. Peace.